Okay, we'll bring the regular council meeting to order. The vision of the Village of Valemount is striving for a vibrant and balanced community, and it's our mission to serve the community and embrace opportunity. So the first item on the agenda is adopting it. Are there any additions? There is an addition that wasn't on the original agenda from staff. Wildfire prescription funding. A motion to move amended. All right, great. Mr. Salt, Councillor Blanchette. All in favor? Great. Adoption of the previous minutes from September 10th, the regular council meeting. Comments considered. Councillor Salt. So moved. And Councillor Latimer. Any discussion? All in favor? Right on. No delegations tonight. No unfinished business. Correspondence for action. We have a letter from Justin Hook of Home Hardware asking about whether Valemount has a shop local policy. And we have a staff recommendation here that council directs staff to update the Village of Valemount procurement policy to be in line with best practices and domestic international procurement obligations. And I think why don't we move it in second to get it on the floor and we'll have some discussion. Councillor Salt, Councillor Blanchette, let's discuss. I'll go first if I've got the strongest feelings on it. So I think council's doing a pretty good job. I guess the Bigfoot Trail was a good example of having the opportunity open for local people to source goods here. We are constrained by the Northwest Partnership Trade Agreement.
New West.
The New West. Sorry, not the Northwest. That's something else completely different. But the New West Partnership Trade Agreement, which it stipulates what we can do and what we can't do, and that means that if we put something, there are certain times that if it meets certain triggers, you have to use an open bid procedure and make sure that everybody can bid on it, so it shows up on BC Bid. And I think maybe that's one of the pieces here, possibly. An idea that I have, it's not that the way to make Valemount more open for business is all within council's jurisdiction, like it's all falls on us. I had an idea about this one. One of the local contractors, I understand, a friend of a friend told me, Brendan Taylor, uses BC Bid to great effect. Local tree guy who's able to bid on wood contracts from here to the Alberta border and beyond, using the BC Bid program. If that's not known about, or it's not working perfectly for local people, that might be something that the chamber could work on, just raising that awareness and making sure that people understand, because it's not just Valemount, but it's also McBride and other communities that need to put that on. So we might be able to do a send up here that's greater than just the what's available to council. For us though, I think what we've got on the table is good. I understand that there has been a little bit of work done on a procurement policy already, so it doesn't have to be done from scratch. Procurement policy is different than this, I think, what's intended by a buy local policy, but at least it will set out the rules, what a fair and even playing field. So everybody understands, how does the village decide to get stuff? What's the procedure that we do? Where can they find it? And so I really want to say, have some reasonable limits around what you put out for tender. You can't put every $500 item out for tender. The amount of paperwork that causes the village to advertise and whatever else is beyond reasonable. But, being reasonably open and having that back and forth of being open to local business and helping them be successful, I guess.
We do spend quite a bit of money in town buying things that the village and council and staff need, so from all of our businesses.
Yeah. Further? All right, nailed it. Do you guys want to vote on this? Let's all in favor of that recommendation. Okay, great. Minutes from the 17th, the September 17th Advisory Planning Commission. There are a couple recommendations that come back, and I know that you were with me at UBCM, so I don't think you were at this meeting, but do you want to read out the recommendations? It'd just be good because that's probably the way it's going to work. Okay.
Recommendation for council, those are the ones you want written?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1, that Dan Kenkel, Paul Johnson, and Owen Torgerson be appointed to a 1-year term, and that Bill Chrisselbrink, Jake Dirksen, and Rindy Anderson be appointed to a 2-year term. And recommendation number 2 is that the temporary street vendor bylaw be extended until December 31st.
Great. Why don't we do those one at a time? We'll just break it up. We'll just do the first one, which is the appointments. Is that
Okay.
fair? Yeah. Okay, so that's seconded by Councillor Salt. All in favor? Great. And if you don't mind.
Okay, and then recommendation number
So just to tell you, it'd be best if the second recommendation was actually dealt with under bylaws and policies,
Yeah.
because the same recommendation comes forward later in the agenda.
I didn't see the fine print there.
With the actual
I apologize for the
bylaws.
misdirect there, Councillor Blanchette. So does that come up, or should we
Yeah,
write that
it
in?
comes up again. It's already in there later on.
Okay.
It's just a note that,
Okay, and was it okay that we did the first piece right there?
excellent.
Okay. Okay, moving along. We got a letter from the Kiyuka family, an impassioned letter, looking for, I think, really support, care, and feeding of our ambulance service, which is really in tatters.
Do you want me to speak to this?
Yeah, please.
So I put in a couple of calls. I've got a call into the superintendent of the Robson District Ambulance Service, and we're going to see what we can do. There aren't any promises, but I think if we work with staff, we can find out who to contact, what the procedures are, if there's any steps, if there's anything we can even do. You know, it's sort of a big black hole that we don't really know anything about.
Well, just like other pieces, let's combine your efforts with the efforts of council, if that's appropriate, and if the other councillors are welcome that idea. It does strike me as it's political, and it's functional. Like we have to determine where do we apply the pressure, and two, it's about political support. So bringing that support, it's great that they've raised it, and we can get behind them. And
Are they union? So is that mandated
Yeah.
by their union then,
Yeah.
that's at this point? Okay.
I think the big, it's kind of funny to speculate on it in an open council meeting, but from experience I've had in the past is when sometimes the structure of unions don't look after the part-time employees as well as they do the full-time. And I mean, I think that's just structural. I don't think it's any conspiracy or anything like that, but it's hard. Yeah,
Volunteer as well. They're volunteer.
they're volunteer.
It's a
Oh,
volunteer ambulance service.
okay, I didn't realize that. Are you sure? Because they are paid for call-outs.
In the same way that the fire department is.
Oh, really? Okay, well, we'll get staff to do some research. We'll investigate the union and and where to go. And then I think realistically, join our voice with the other voices across the province that are saying we need to take better care of this because we need it. So I'll move that council and staff work together to, we'll get first staff to bring back some information to council about where to go, and we bring it forward as a council that way. So I'll move that. Councillor Salt will second. All in favor?
And I'd like to thank the Kayakers too, because it is a serious problem, so it's nice to have them bring it forward and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, the reading file. Was there anything that folks wanted to peel out of here?
I do.
Okay.
I would like the Northern Health Community consultation brought out. This is happening in Valemount at the Best Western on November 18th, and it is Northern Health is doing a consultation focus on healthy aging and seniors wellness. And I really think that this is something we need to, all of us attend. We're all aging. Northern Health is willing to work with us now and our seniors now and those of us who will be seniors. So I think this is a really, really benefit to our community, because I'm assuming we're all going to be here when we're older. And after this, on the Monday, I go up and I meet with Northern Health to do a focus group on all the information that we've found out through this, through their traveling focus group. They're doing the northern, all the other northern communities. So the more people that attend, the more information and more productive we'll able to be. So I'd like to encourage everybody, if they can, to go. Okay, that's November 18th at the Best Western at 2 o'clock.
2 p.m.
And like I said, it's for seniors now and for those of us who will be seniors. And it's free.
The good thing is that we're at the end of the row, or of the appointments, so hopefully we'll learn something from all the other communities, right? So it's, yeah, exactly.
And that's the idea of the focus group that I'm attending later that night. And it's going to pool all the information and see where we as communities want to go with Northern Health. And I mean, Northern Health is terrific. They always want to work with all of the communities directly. So this is a no-brainer.
Great. Excellent. Anything else to pull from the reading file? Councillor Salt?
Can we just have staff follow up with Valemount Secondary School, the Learning Centre, and perhaps Dorothy Flower with Give Youth a Voice on the Youth Parliament of British Columbia to make sure they've all received this information? I know we've had some local students go in the past and they've thoroughly enjoyed their experience there, so I just would like to make sure that these other organizations in town are getting that word out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I was looking at that as well.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting one, and I have a little piece, and this is my one of the things that we do at the Columbia Basin Trust is try and get kids involved, in high school or whatever. And there's a certain profile of kid of students or whatever kid that's always involved. And I don't know if you guys are comfortable with this. I'll just pitch the idea to you, but it would be interesting to ask the high school and the Learning Center and those other ones to try and find some kid that, for whatever reason, or kids or students, I don't know, young people, youth, rascals, who wouldn't normally get the chance to go, and provide the funding there, right? And maybe there's a contingent that goes, but the funding would hopefully go to, that opportunity would go to some kid that might not normally get the chance to get out of Valemount in this way. Is that okay? Can we put that spin on it? Or it's a lot to ask, just referring, but maybe we can.
The program actually provides funding.
Yes.
Travel and accommodation.
Yeah, it
Right on.
does.
Excellent.
And
And
there's
they also
grant.
provide the funding for
If they're-
somebody that maybe won't be able to go as well.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, it's a really great program.
That's a great idea. That was written right there. Okay, excellent. Okay, so I don't think we need a resolution on that. We'll just forward that along and get staff to do that. Does that require a resolution for you?
No.
No, good. Okay. Great. So, motion to accept, or are there any other items from the reading file? There's a lot of stuff we've already dealt with at length there, like the multi-material recycling. So with that, I'll move to accept the reading file.
Second.
Councillor Salt, Councillor Latimer, all in favor? And then we'll move on to the Advisory Planning Commission issues for consideration. And the recommendation is that we direct the APC to assess how Valemount might create or improve regulations around home-based businesses, including home occupations, home ministries, short-term vacation rentals, and bed and breakfast. That is going to be cool. That is going to be interesting stuff.
All of
Councillor
the APC goes along with assessing.
Latimer, Councillor Salt, all in favor? Great. Let's make Hollie do that. And then we'll move along and we'll get to that other piece later, right? Temporary use. Yeah,
Correct.
there it is. Excellent. Okay, moving along. We'll go to bylaws and policies. Item 14.1, animal bylaw number 700, 2013. We're going to third reading. And there's been some minor grammatical changes. The bylaw has been reformatted. And we've been through first and second reading, and now we're at third reading. And I had something that I wanted to talk to staff about, but I didn't have the chance because we've been at UBCM and everything else, and it's been really busy. I'm going to bring it up at fear of having my head chopped off, like a chicken, which is what I want to bring up. during this, I know we're at third reading, and I know we've taken a look at these before. I'm not asking staff, I'm asking council. It's a question for council. My understanding was back when this bylaw was initially brought up, back in the day, there was a citizen work group that worked really hard on it and came up with the idea of permitting chickens in town. And I bring that to you only because we're trying to do a good job on this. We realize we have a regulatory regime that needs work, and we have we have a very good bylaw that says all the nice things about what the bylaw officer does, and we are fully cognizant we don't have a bylaw officer yet. But we pledge, it's our job, right, to make sure that the bylaws are there, and then figure out this conundrum and go forward. And I wonder if it's worthwhile for us to ask staff to request staff. Am I getting eyes? I don't want to look that way. There's a point to say. Thank you.
Your worship, at this point, the only items that were addressed in the bylaw were making them fit the adjudication bylaw and formatting and minor changes such as that. There weren't any significant changes to the bylaw. Staff definitely can look at reopening that bylaw, but for something like chickens, it might be wise to carry that process through right from first reading.
Okay.
So we might want to finish this bylaw as it is and look at it as a
Okay, fair
separate
enough.
project.
Well, I defer to council.
Let's just go through this bylaw and finish it, and we'll take the next steps if necessary for chickens.
Very good. Okay.
I agree.
Okay, so I'll make a motion.
You're outnumbered.
I'll make a motion to approve third reading of animal bylaw number 700.
I'll second.
Whoa,
I'll
all in
third
favor?
it.
Is anybody in favor of this thing? All right, I like that. Good job, guys. Here I'm trying to stretch this council meeting out and I'm getting no takers. Okay. Moving on to Good Neighbor Bylaw 702, 2013. Again, this is a similar reformatting and working through the bylaw. Council, what's your wish?
I'll move, but I need to make some minor notations, corrections.
Okay.
So on page 4, section 5.1I, it's end of the sentence is referencing see section 5.12. There is no section 5.12. I think it's meaning section 4.12.
Okay. Sorry, what page are you on?
Page 4 of the actual bylaw.
Oh, yeah. Item I see
Yeah,
it. Section 5.2.
Yeah, under the section 5 requirements.
Okay.
And there's two other, just making sure staff note the first and second times it was read was the 13th of August.
Sure.
And then, I could have had one more. Oh, that's it, yeah.
Okay. So with those changes, Councillor Latimer, all in favor? Done like dinner. Okay, moving on to the tax exempt property bylaw. Staff is asking us to approve first and second reading of the tax exempt property bylaw number 704, 2013. Councillor Latimer? Okay.
Bylaw 704, 2013.
Okay.
I would also just like to make sure that public are aware that this is first and second reading, so there is time. If anyone has any concerns about what is being done in here, there will be time. It will be advertised in the next 2 weeks of the newspapers. And the fourth and final reading won't happen until the end of October, so it gives the public some time to review and raise any concerns if they do. But so this is just showing the direction we're going for now.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. Okay, temporary street vendor bylaw. This has been referred to us from the APC, and I gather it's about making sure we don't run out of time on our current. The recommendation here is that council approve first, second, third reading of the temporary street vendor bylaw amendment number 705 to allow for the temporary street vendor bylaw number 696, 2013 to be extended until December 31st, 2013. And that's something that the APC has under full swing, and they're taking, they're reviewing that. So this is part of our process. Councillor Salt, Councillor Latimer, all in favor? Seems like we're all agreed there. Okay, right on. So we're on to council reports.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
It's short.
I attended the Alpine cleanup at Allen Creek on Saturday with Varda on behalf of council, and we had 35 attendees, and most were from out of town. And we started out at 9, just around 9 in the morning, came back down around 4, and despite the weather, rain and wind and fog, and it was a successful venture for sure.
Right on.
Found snowmobile parts and sat phones and windshields and gas cans. Anyways, it was good. So we came out with a lot of bags, and it looks much better. Not that it looked bad. It was actually quite impressive when we got up there. It was quite a shock, actually, that it was as good as it was.
Right on.
So it was all good.
Good
And that's
deal.
what I
Well,
did.
thank everybody for that.
Oh, we did.
Did you say
35 and 31 were from out of town.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Yes.
What a great show.
Great.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stewardship we're really looking for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come and play here and also help us take care
Yep.
of it.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
That's great.
That's great.
Is that everything?
That's everything. Yes.
Councillor Blanchette?
September 11th, we had the video conference with resort municipalities, about resort municipalities, what to do, what not to do, what they did, what they would have done differently. It was very interesting, very informative, and very welcomed, and I'd like to thank all of those municipalities for helping, because when you're going into something you don't know, and they really shed some light that was well needed. And then I attended UBCM, which was very, very productive. There was great clinics and workshops. I think all of our minister meetings were very positive. As always, it was a good experience. Very, very busy, very, very long days, but very, very rewarding and worth it. I didn't bring the notes of all of my stuff because we'd be here forever.
Oh, yeah.
But
No, that's fine.
just the clinics I found were very, very good, and just listening to what other communities have done in different situations and picking up little tidbits here and there is always really worthwhile.
Right on.
So
Councillor Salt?
You know what? I'm just going to say ditto to Councillor Blanchette. I did the exact same thing as well, the CBT video conference with the resort communities, and it was fabulous. I'm so glad we did that. And thank you to Golden, Revelstoke, Caslow, Kimberly, no, not Caslow, Roslyn and Kimberly, and the CBT Cranbrook office, right? And it was fabulous. RDEK, yeah. Those people took a lot of time, took a day out of their schedules to share with us, and thank them so much for that. It was amazing. And yeah, UBCM was an amazing whirlwind. I think we really were making Valemount known for our positive energy, and we had some really great productive meetings. And like Councillor Blanchette, there were some really wonderful clinics, workshops and sessions with a lot of really great information, tidbits that are applicable for our little community, some that are not so much. They're more for big communities, but again, very valuable. The networking that you do, the people you meet, also is a tremendous asset. So
Okay.
it was a great week.
Thanks. Is there anything else?
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
That's it.
That's great. And we don't need to go on at length, I guess, but, and maybe we'll try to prepare a written piece for next week, although I'll tell you, tomorrow I'm off to CBT, traveling 10 hours, because it's actually less time than taking a flight to get to Elkford. That's all. that's a ways away. At any rate, what I'd like to say about, well, first the resort workshop was just fantastic. And then having touched on all those issues, I got to hang out with David Raven, the mayor of Revelstoke, at the mayor's caucus as well, and just speak through those issues. And he came up to us and he said, you know what we didn't talk about? We said building inspection. And so we were just talking about the things that you get caught being a small municipality going into something that's bigger. And he said, your bylaw inspector will be really good for houses that are 1 or 2 stories. Now let's talk about 8 stories. Because now, 8 years later, they're finding stuff with their thing where it's like, well, it didn't quite work out right. You know, because, just because. So it's that's the kind of thing that we're getting from those communities, and it's just a joy to work with them. And they're so kind, like they all really want to help. So the nature of municipalities, I guess. I also want to say, and this ties into my next point, is one, I've been working really hard on the Columbia River Treaty group as well. We actually had a meeting at UBCM. It wasn't about UBCM. It was just we were all there. It was a good place to have a meeting. And we met with the minister and sort of talked about where our committee came up with and how the province can support us. It was a really good meeting. And I just want to say that's sort of a piece that we do, and it kind of gets put away in a box there, but it's another piece. And also, it's been pretty phenomenal, the number, and everyone wants to meet right before UBCM too, so it's kind of like 2 weeks of meetings and a week after of meetings. There's also some work that I'm doing with the CBT folks on, it's a little bit broader than CBT actually, but on broadband, and the idea of how do we get super fast internet here and do it on our own terms and not lag behind every other jurisdiction or whatever. That's something. So in terms of like actual economic development stuff, people might wonder what it is that we're doing, but there is so much stuff that is right on. And I came back home and I heard one of the mayors, the mayor of Barrier, did a really good interview on the radio, on CBC Radio 1. So national exposure, like awesome, right? And he's talking about the power outage that happened here on the day that most people left for UBCM. And the same day that we met with the energy minister, or they met with the energy minister, and they were talking about that. And you know, people don't know what they say, but the conversation on Facebook was, you know, why don't our local representatives do anything? And it's like, oh my God. We also went to see the Minister of Energy, only we tried not to burn bridges when we did so, right? So it wasn't a big smoke show. It was more kind of a diplomatic affair. So you don't read about it in the headlines because we're not burning BC Hydro or the Energy Minister as such. But believe us, we're there. The Mayor's Caucus was a separate event that was there, and there was an opportunity to meet with the other resort municipalities. We met with the Premier, of course, the Minister of Energy, the Minister of Forests. These are all really important files. And of course our MLA, the Minister of Jobs, Tourism, Skills Training. These are big files. We weren't idle there. But anyways, I don't need to get all defensive and get my back up or whatever. The big thing about what I felt really worked well at this, well, the thing that's worth commenting for me is what a fantastic team we were. Yeah, we met with the Minister of Transportation and Councillor Salt carried the day. We had to go up and go in different places at various times so we could get all that we could out of it, but we did, and we met back, and I just felt like that was, for me, going through all those meetings was a big support network, and we really did a good job of being together. And that's kind of like that this council is getting together and gelling. We've got to make sure that Christine can make it out next time, and we'll get Dallas a substitute gardener. Okay, I'm getting the ayes, so to move on. Is that right? Is that what that means? At any rate, that concludes my, except for I was just at the Caribou Grill, and they're having an appreciation dinner for all the volunteers of the Mount Robson Marathon. Isn't that nice? So that's something that Rudy and Patricia does, and they're all there, and there's like 40 people out there, so not a small affair. Yeah. So anyways, thanks to them for their big part in the success of our community. Moving along. Motion to accept council reports. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor Salt, all in favor? New business, the wildfire prescription funding. So this is just a recommendation dot the i's, cross the t's, they need a resolution for this, that we support the proposed wildfire fuel management activities, direct staff to apply for the wildfire prescription funding, and provide overall grant management for any or all funding received through UBCM Strategic Wildfire Prevention Initiative. Councillor Salt, Councillor Latimer, all in favor? And done. There's a list of outstanding council resolutions. We'll just take that for information. And then the calendar of events. We're getting dangerously close to the end here. It's public comment time. And there's not a great deal of public.
Our media are frantically typing away.
So we're going to put it out there tenderly, gingerly, to see if we can interest anybody in making a public. Oh, Janelle DeBeeson. No, that's completely random how that happened.
It's Nelda Beeson, 1100 Sabres Road. Can I ask a question?
You can try. You can give it a shot.
Can you repeat that last one? It's really hard when there's no paper or
Oh, you don't have to be paid.
item. I have no idea what you're saying.
Do you want me to email you everything tomorrow morning?
Amazing.
Corey, do you need it?
Sure, that'd be
I'll send it to both of you first thing in the morning.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay,
Great
done like
job
dinner.
out there.
We need all that encouragement. Okay, motion. Okay, we can make sure that everybody here has been heard if they need to be. Martin? Martin's good. Okay, of course. Gord knows better.
He doesn't speak.
Okay, so motion to receive public comments. Councillor Salt, Councillor Blanchette, all in favor? And then the next item is to proceed in camera. That we proceed in camera for consideration of one item as per section 90 of the community charter. Councillor Salt, Councillor Latimer, all in favor? Boom.
Thank you for coming.